to talk to Jessica Clark of Quince Fine Florals, who has the cutest shop on Mackenzie Street, which many of you may have visited over time. So Jessica, tell us what it's like since this strange period of time.
It's definitely been a transition. I think the hardest thing thus far has been getting enough product, because so much product is grown locally, which we're so lucky to have, but a lot of stuff is still imported, such as roses. So just trying to get enough product for all my customers has been a bit of a challenge. The good thing is there's been so much support for local growers, and all the prices have gone up a bit, but at least it's going towards local growers who are in the Lower Mainland, which is great because they work so hard. But yeah, that's been my hardest thing, is getting enough product. Whereas before, it wasn't as difficult, I would say.
We've had a couple of brides put their things on hold. How are you responding to that?
Yeah, we've basically every single one of our weddings this summer has been, 95% have been pushed to next year, to 2021. And then there have been a few that have just been basically canceled. So this is the first time in probably 14 years that I don't have a single wedding, which is kind of still hitting me because I'm so used to doing weddings every year. Logistically it's been difficult because I already have weddings booked for 2021. So trying to give as much priority to the 2020 brides who are having to scramble as possible. So
I bet there's a lot of tears.
Yes, and a lot of them have had to come to grips with getting married on a Friday or a Sunday, because most of the venues were already almost completely booked for 2021. The venues that they have already, been signed up for. So, I have to say, aside from one bride, everybody's been really, really amazing and very sweet and understanding that the entire wedding industry is kind of up in the air and scrambling. And
do you see any of them trying to move forward with a plan that incorporates social distancing, or no? Because they're all over 50 people.
Well, yeah, and most people have family coming in from somewhere.
Got it.
I did one backyard wedding where they just got married in their backyard with their parents, and then they're going to do a big party next year. Mm-hmm. But everybody else, I think, has put so much into the wedding that they just want to push the whole thing off. That way they can fully embrace it all next year.
I can't imagine undoing all of that. They must be so heartbroken.
Yeah. And then also trying to get the same vendors, because, your caterer might be available for the date next year, but maybe your florist isn't, or maybe your photographer's already booked for that day. So trying to get all the same people locked into the day next year has been difficult, I think, for a lot of brides. So I feel bad.
What is the cutest request that you've received?
In terms of brides, or in terms of
just outside of brides, in like as a florist located in Vancouver?
A couple guys come in and get flowers for their wives because they feel like their wives have really been working extra hard, working at home, doing homeschooling, and doing everything else. So they've definitely, I think, appreciated their wives more. A lot of cards saying, "Thank you for putting up with me," and "Thank you for putting up with all of us. Thank you." So that's been nice. So, and I've just had also in general just a lot of people getting flowers for their house, for their home offices.
That's nice, because everybody's at home.
Yeah, everybody's at home, and it's kind of just something that brightens your space, even if it's just like 5 little blooms. It's, you don't need a lot always. It's just something nice and beautiful just next to your computer or your desk.
I grew up with flowers in my house all the time, so it's very normal for me. But we can tell with real estate, it's not normal for everyone.
No.
And they get used to it because we bring them flowers all the time.
Yeah, no, for sure. It makes a difference, at least to me. I come home, even if it's just a few blooms on my mantelpiece, I don't need a lot, just something, which is nice. Yeah.
So Mother's Day is a huge day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge day for your place. You're totally over sold out with just bouquets. But if somebody's last minute and a dad's at home going, oh no, what can they do?
Yes, we are already sold out of everything. It's kind of unprecedented. We've had so many pre-orders, I can't even keep up. But we do have other alternatives for people who are kind of last minute worrying about getting something. We just got in a shipment of beautiful teas from a Canadian company. I'm trying to support as many local Canadian companies as I can right now. So it's an amazing tea company called Sloan Teas based out of Toronto. It's super popular, so we just got restocked on those. We also have some amazing scented candles from a company in Whistler, and they've got beautiful boxes, and it's just something really nice and special. We've got those, which we're getting more in this week. We've got French soaps. We've got lots of double-stemmed orchids, which last a long time, as Ruthie can attest.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, things like that you can just come in, pick up if you're lacking a gift. So we do have options.
And how do they pick them up? They just order in advance, even the soaps?
The best thing would be to call in. Otherwise, you can come into the shop. We are allowing 2 people in the shop at a time, practicing social distancing, washing and wiping down, sanitizing all our surfaces and our doorknobs. And we're just asking people not to touch anything, just point. And then we can wrap things up for them to go. We also have cards for people who've forgotten their Mother's Day cards. And yeah, there's always something. So yeah, I would say call or pop by.
I would think, this period is really drawing out the gratitude that everyone has for their relationships in their lives. Yes. And I like that notion of that, husband/father sending flowers to his wife. But the recurring deliveries, doing something for somebody for a longer period of time that might be living on their own would be such a nice treat for those people.
Definitely. We've certainly had some husbands order like a bouquet every month for a year. In the last week, we've had quite a few people come in for that. But it's also something that's really nice for, someone who's living on their own, someone who's a bit older. We also switch things up each month. So one month it could be like a beautiful bouquet of peonies. The next month it could be a little miniature orchid. The holidays, it could be a planted amaryllis. It's a nice kind of treat. And it's, especially if someone's living at home alone, like a parent or someone who doesn't have people right now. Definitely. And something to look forward to. That's not a bill every month.
Yeah.
Have you done any collaborations with other local businesses during this time?
Well, not during this time, but in the past, I've done things with Butter Baked Goods for Mother's Day. We've done workshops and teas together, and I am on that note, on the workshop note, because so many weddings have been pushed to 2021. I'm going to have all this extra time on my hands in the summer, and I usually am too busy to have workshops in the summer. So depending on what Dr. Bonnie Henry says, if we're allowed small groups, my plan in August is to do some workshops where people can come in maybe groups of 6, spread out in the shop, and create some beautiful dahlia arrangements. That's when dahlias are in full bloom and they're spectacular. Lots of amazing local product, like all local products. So that's kind of going to be what we transition to this summer, I think.
I did
one of your making wreaths.
Yes.
And it was so fun. Fun. I loved that.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was fun. I love having workshops. It's always it's always a good time. Everybody's always so lovely and creative, and it's good. Yeah, so that's what I think we'll do this summer, if we're allowed. But yeah.
I think once those doors open up and people are allowed, I think those gatherings will become more and more special.
Yeah.
And people will be doing things more locally, and I could see garden tea parties,
right?
just as your get back together celebrations.
Definitely. I myself am very much missing all my friends and yeah, that social connection for sure. So yeah, we'll see. And I think another thing is that I'm very grateful to be open right now, just because I have had a bit of social interaction with my customers and just, yeah, being able to chat with people every day has been nice and not feel super isolated, which has been good. And I know there have been customers who come in and they're like, it's my once a week, I come and get flowers and I can have a chat. So that's always nice too.
Mm-hmm. What's the silver lining you're going to take away?
Silver lining is going to be that in this time I've learned that what I do is really valuable. I've had so many people say that the flowers they're getting, even if it's just like something small, makes them so happy. And I've had so many texts saying that. So that's been really rewarding. And yeah, also just the time I've been able to spend with my family, to have dinner every night with my husband, who's usually at work at that time. So lots of family dinners, which has been nice. Yeah. But yeah. And also I think that you can, yeah, you just have to evolve to make things work, but it's workable. Things are doable. And I've seen that with all my small business friends, just adapt to make things work. And they've all done it and they've all been successful and it is possible. So.